Welcome to the best damn arm wrestling sports show. I'm Hollywood Donny Underwood. I've been arm wrestling 31 years.
You also got resident Waganian from South Arizona.
Scott Wynn from Los Angeles. How's it going, Don? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Scott, man. Looks like you're doing a little bit better. Last time I seen a picture of you is all casted up. You got some work done, huh?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, dude. It's coming back. I'm healing quick. I'm a quick healer. So
Good.
yeah, my hand's a little stiff. I'm having a little trouble with the hand, but the bicep tendon's feeling amazing.
Oh, it'll come through, man. Just give it time. Take your time. Don't get in a hurry. And we got plenty of life left in us old dogs. I mean, you know this sport, man. Seems like 40's almost the takeoff point for these, anymore. So these young guys, as good as they are, they got to remember that the old man string stuck in us old dogs up here.
100%. No doubt about that.
Yeah, so what got you into the sport of arm wrestling, Don?
Oh, my. Back in the day, I mean, you'd have to say over the top. I was a kid that always tried to fit in. Somehow I got in an arm wrestling match and I won. And I guess I just kept on, trucking from there. Won a lot, seen an advertisement for a tournament at the state fair. And it was crazy because you look for these things, when we first began, there was no internet, and you wonder how these things even evolved with the movies and everything that was in place at the time. This is 84, 85. So, just seen an ad in the paper, a little small ad in the corner of the paper, and went up there and got my tail kicked, and it really pissed me off because I had tore a tendon or something the week before. So I went in injured, and a little 176-pound guy laughed at me from Nebraska, and I vowed to kick his ass. So it took me a little while, but it didn't take me, get through everybody and make some noise.
Right. It's funny you say that, though. A lot of these guys don't realize the internet changed the face of a lot of things, but arm wrestling especially, because back in the day, unless you got on a mailing list,
right,
usually you're only on, for me, it was local California list, and they kept us really busy. So we really didn't need to leave the state.
Right.
And, you didn't know about what was going on the other side of the country. You didn't realize, like, wow, there's a lot of good arm wrestlers over there.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And we're like, some of these guys were still coming across each other. Like, I didn't even know you existed. Yeah. Well, I've been arm wrestling 20 years. Who are you?
Yeah, they're kicking ass in their zip code. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I got lucky
you
enough.
guys had to take railroads everywhere?
Well, it wasn't quite that far back, young fella.
What did he say?
He said taking railroads. He's throwing a jab at the geriatric boy.
Cute. Yeah, we're on horseback back then.
Yeah, I got lucky enough to get in with AAA guys. It started with USWA or WPAA, and that was a kind of going out at the time. AAA was kind of really blowing up. So we had a AAA company and and that to-go WPAA come together. So I got postcards from both and ended up liking the fast start instead of the to-go start. That's where I found out speed kills and really worked on that for years. And
yeah,
I've been known to hit fairly fast from time to time for a big boy. So that's really been, a successful move for me. But yeah, AAA was great, man. Traveled all over the coast and down south. And anytime they would send something, I try to get there. Beg, borrowed, steal to learn how to do this crazy sport. And here we are 30 years later and still trucking.
Yeah, it's funny because AAA really didn't come to the West Coast that often.
No, sir. That was USWA. And as you know, those guys didn't get along too well. They was all trying to play King of the Hill, and it got ugly for a while. But, things over time eventually have to happen. And I'm glad it did. There's still bits and pieces of that AAA USWA stuff, when you go to certain places. I'm not a fan of pulling AAA tournaments there. The referees tend to think that they want to delegate the winner of those matches way too much. I think the sport needs to get more focused on the people that's got their elbows down and not the people watching, small hop. You got to think, man, we're generating torque and massive amounts of pressure for us not to be able to move or get a flash of light is insane. And for someone to say you lose a match when you spend $1,000 or take a week off work to travel somewhere because you hop a fraction of an inch is a bunch of horse shit. And frankly, I'm tired of here and not being able to see the fouls on footage. To me, just ain't cutting it.
Hey,
You know?
hey, what you just said right there changed my mind. Up until there, I thought everything you were saying was bullshit. But when you said cameras, it was 100% valid. It changed my opinion on it. As soon as you have cameras, you can validate every foul,
Right.
tell the truth. I agree with you, Don. Continue. I apologize for interrupting.
No worries. Anytime you got spot to fill, that's content I'm assuming you're going to want. We want to make sure that we get everything out. I've got a lot to say. I'm trying to bring Hollywood back. It's hard for me just being old Don, a humble guy that, I love the sport. I'm coming out of a 5-year layoff and I've been training my ass off. And it's hard to bring back that successful, crazy guy that I was because I'm not the same human being that, I lived a wild life, I was always on the go and high speed. And, I have that in me. Trust me, I'm a wound up ADD kid with looking for something to break, and I just need the cameras is what this sport needs. It's going to bring out the best of us. And, guys like me, we thrive off attention, and I want positive attention now. I used to need attention. That's where I've earned the Hollywood name was just being a dumbass, but it is what it is. We're all young and we learn from what we do and we try to better ourselves each step of the way. And if you don't, you're going to fail. And I ran into that fail and I learned what it took to be successful. And I'm ready to come out and show off. Fuck this nice guy shit. Let's get mean and nasty and let's make some noise. Yeah, and that's what's going to make this sport special.
John, if you don't mind me asking, what made you have the decision to take 5 years off the sport?
Well, after Game of Arms, I was an addict and had been an addict for years, sobered up for a couple only to fall back into a worse drug. And, you can't hide that stuff. And I'm not a guy that's proud of it. When I started noticing people notice me, it started getting me to the point where I didn't want to go nowhere. I just wanted to get high and do what I did. And that was good for me. You find someone that likes to do the same shit you do it, and it kind of ends up, there's a lot of bad involved, but at some point in time, you end up hitting bottom. Not only did I hit bottom, that was just a cliff. I rolled off the side and kept on trucking.
Yeah, so, 5 years flies by.
Yeah. And then, we got pregnant, had a little girl, and that was the start to realizing that, oh shit, man, I've got to take care of this. And this, kids are important. I made a decision and it was a fucking hard run, man. I fell off. I picked myself up and I fell off. And, I've been good for a long time. It's a daily struggle. I just lost a friend of mine. He was a young arm wrestler, a damn good prospect, but he fought with drugs for a long time, passed away last night. And it's just, I'm just thankful, man, that, I was raised by a great mother that taught me right from wrong. I didn't always take, her advice, but at some point in time that takes over and you become the human being you're supposed to. If you're not, you're just going to end up being a piece of shit. That's just the way it is. And we all know those guys. And it's unfortunate, even though you love somebody, but some people just will never pick it up. And I did, thankfully. And, I started arm wrestling again a little bit here and there and made a comeback in 18 and I did really good at the Arnolds. I kind of got tickled. Some of those guys just laid down. Literally just threw their arms to the pad. And I'm like, damn, it's going to be a great day if they keep this shit up. And ended up pulling out third and didn't look bad at all. And decided, well, shit, if I'm that good, after 5 years off, what can I be sober and clean? And I just put a run in it, man. I work out as much as I can. I live a clean lifestyle and I work hard.
What are you doing for training?
I trained with Stephen Green. You guys probably know that name. Very powerful young man that had a major injury a few years ago. He tore all of the Tommy John injury and his side pressure all but went away. And he's healing. The guy is
Wow.
The confidence is the problem with Steven. He can't fathom coming back to the table and losing to people he knows he can beat. But, you know, we're trying. He's starting to practice again. But we lift in the gym pretty heavy. We get strong, and that's what we enjoy doing. And it's reflecting on my pulling. And I practice a couple times a month. I don't overtrain. I think arm wrestling needs to be less sometimes and more when you're at our position and our age in this sport.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that I get a little bit of that Lup keys thing going where I just am a good arm wrestler and hit the gym and it transitions over.
Don't you train with the cycle arms too?
I do. Yeah. Bo Olson's team is fantastic. Now they're a little farther away from me. And when I say far, I mean, it's only like 45 minutes, but I'm pretty lazy. I don't like to drive too far and stuff like that. Because I only arm wrestle probably a half hour, but I'm consistently pulling constantly. So, I mean, when I get blown up, I rest and I blow up again and pull a few more minutes and get out of there. Those guys pull for days. Very impressive young crew. And they'll have some successful guys come out of there. Bo might be the most underrated guy nationwide. He'll sneak in there and smack some dudes around. That dude is bad.
He is, man. Bo's something else.
Yeah, he's a special guy. And what a tremendous human being.
Yeah.
He does this stuff. Don't charge nobody, helps everybody out. Just a genuinely good human being. And like I said, I think a lot of those guys, Cody Vanderweed is his kind of second guy out there, his assistant. And then we all kind of pitch in. I try not to do much coaching at somebody else's gym. You know, I have my own way of doing things. So I'm starting to pick up a few athletes now. And I got to tell people when I take them to practice, whoa, you're not doing that. That's not what we're practicing. Yeah. You know, I think that new guys' biggest problem is going practice, or letting multiple people get out. It doesn't matter how many get out of it. You got to stand there and say, listen, this is the move you're training right now. And once you get it, you'll learn something else. Yeah. And if you know better than anything, you get a new guy in there and 15 minutes later, they're dumber than they was 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they got 10 other guys trying to teach them something all in the same day.
Completely. And everybody does it. And I guess you could say I'm just becoming a more stern guy. What I say goes. I've earned my place. And if I bring somebody, we appreciate everybody's input, but you got to focus one thing at a time. Like Marshall, you know, my son, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but my son's making some racket in the amateurs, just 15 years old, but his technique is work on one thing at a time, make good at it and go on to the next. So looks like the Underwood name is going to carry on a little bit longer. Hopefully he'll make some racket as well.
Yeah, very cool. So you got a big 4-way super match coming up.
I heard that. When is that?
I don't know. I think it's like 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah. I guess I better start reading the details.
Yeah.
Oh, they sent me a little money and told me I was going to arm wrestle some pretty good pullers. And it started out with Mike and I, and then somehow it got into a 4-way. And, you know, I like I told everybody else, man, if I'm 100% right now, I should win this thing, no problem. It as simple as that. Last time I pulled was in Michigan. My heart was out of rhythm running 150 it started at 1 a.m. the night before the tournament and ran all the way through to 11 p.m. the next night. Yeah. I don't know how much it takes out of you, but try jogging around the room all day long while everybody else is sitting still in arm wrestle. It's kind of how I do that.
Yeah.
So I know it, I'm going to say 70, 80%. That's a strong person right there. And I was able to compete at a fairly good level. A lot of wind problems, a lot of problems there with stamina. But I pulled out, I win, and then Chance beat me twice from fouls. And that's kind of where I'm going with these elbow fouls. Because, I mean, I looked for them, and I did see one, maybe two, but nothing so crazy that go away, you know?
Yeah.
It's just let these guys arm wrestle. I mean, if you do, and Craig's one of my best friends, Craig Toulier, but you'll know his elbow foul because he'll touch the other guy's pad, suck you up, and pull you back. But, you know, he knows how to fix that. We want to see the arm wrestlers win. We travel to these things to arm wrestle, not to be told we elbow foul. Get it right or fucking find somebody who can do this shit. because I don't know. I mean, at some point, anyways, if you want entertaining arm wrestling, let them go and call the obvious things that need to be fixed.
So,
Nobody
random
wants.
question.
Yeah.
Strict rules or cutting foul rules?
Well, I've got my own opinions. If it's changing the match, then absolutely. Little moves to switch to go up in the pad, or if you're off the pad or you hop to, these are things that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's an obvious game changer, match changer, of course. But small little hops. I mean, these are transitions that, with that kind of power, you're asking somebody to do one move, one technique, and it's tough to do. And I know everybody hops. I watch it. I referee a bunch. Right. I don't call everything because I don't think it's necessary. Right. That's the difference between me and somebody else. But again, that comes back to the person reffing. I mean, I've had some high refs, and I won't say no names, that have fouled me the first time and said, "Hey man, you had a little bobble in the second, but it wasn't that bad, so we let it go." Absolutely, thank you. I agree with you. Yeah, they're getting better, but some of them, I believe, just they get awful.
Elbow fouls are one of those things, and again, it does come down to the officiating. But like an elbow foul, like coming up towards your opponent, is like you really aren't gaining an advantage. If it's me coming up forward and it comes up a little bit, I didn't really gain an advantage. Now, if I'm lifting my elbow up when they're trying to pull me towards them, right, and I'm lifting my elbow up and it's popping up because I'm trying to keep on my side of the table.
Scott, where you are wrong is if an opponent is doing a lat drag, pulling you to their side of the table with wrist flexion, so this motion, and you lift your elbow up and rise your hand while supinating and get over their hand. When you bring your arm back down, you've created such a gap that you can easily pronate out of their hand and top roll them.
Right. So you didn't let me finish. I was talking about the guy on the other side, not the guy on that side, right? Okay. So you're pulling me on your side of the table, right? So when you're pulling me on your side of the table and my elbow comes up because you lifted me off the pad, literally, and match stops because of that foul, that is unnecessary. Follow me?
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
You know what I mean?
Okay, okay. Here's
now what you're saying is
if you had more lat pressure, you would have been able to keep your elbow on the pad.
Yeah,
we're talking about stopping matches, Reza. We're not talking about the rules.
I understand.
We're talking about little minor fractions of elbows, depending on where that momentum's being used.
This is where I say
listen. That's where you're getting an advantage or a disadvantage. Okay, understand that aspect. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Minute miniature fouls that you don't gain an advantage.
Right.
So stopping the match there to give me a foul would be nonsense. Now, if it comes off a lot, then it's different. Right. We're talking about you're seeing daylight. Okay.
Right. Just flashes of daylight. Just flashes like this. Little flashes. I mean,
yeah. And I'm not like now if I'm lifting my elbow up to pull back down, which Jamie Sheldon likes to do every time I pull him off the pad. He lifts up, comes back down. And yes, that's this guy's coming up because he's trying to regain what he's lost. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's where the officials need to be good enough, not where they stand. It's not where they're leaning or stepping to the side. It's their peripheral visions and knowing where these momentums happen. That's what makes a key referee exceptional. And that's what Don's kind of talking about. It's like being able to see in between the lines. You know what I mean? It's like, do we stop every match, every time a guy's elbow sees daylight? And that's PAL. You know what I mean? We don't even get to see a match half the time.
I like PAL style rules. I think the best thing we can do is add a border to the elbow pads, like Leonard said. That's about that big, so that if you have a bump, just like on the old donut pads, it's not called.
Yeah.
It's a super simple solution. Other than that, to me as a ref, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call every little bump that occurs because that's my job. And if
Well,
I'm
it's like the
if I'm
same
refing,
thing. We've talked about the elbow pads. Like what you're suggesting, I love. But just do that. You can do that across the whole pad though, bro. Just let the elbow get absorbed that much. And we're going to get rid of all those Mazurenko fouls, all those hard pad fouls. All they need is padding on them. And that almost solves all the problem because you can allow yourself to lift up without coming off the pad, you know?
Yeah, there's a bunch of, that's it's ultimately going to come down to, can you guys hear me okay? You guys got quiet.
No.
you're a little boggled.
Yeah. I'm going to try to reset, guys. Can I do that?
Let's see.
If you lose me in a second, they're
There
going
you
to
go.
kill us on this.
That's getting a little better.
You guys are still quiet. I can't hardly hear it. I had a call come in, and for some, I don't know why, but you went almost mute on it. Talk to me now.
There you go.
All right, we got it. I don't know what the hell happened. No, guys, it's ultimately going to come down, and Scott, I think you was, and it may not have been, I know you was going to do something. It was something to do with everybody joining on a yearly thing. If it was a union or not, I don't know if that's what it was.
Yeah, membership league.
Ultimately, the sport will evolve to what it's going to be. Everybody's trying to fix it now. The WAL, everybody's got their own interpretation of rules, and there's so many different ones right now. You got WAF rules, you got WAL rules, you got AAA rules, and it's like, man, come on, guys. This is not rocket science. Let's get down and see who the strongest guy is that, is not jumping up on the table and not Bagenting everybody, because he'll jump across the table. Let this shit happen. That's what we're here to do. And, just getting down to seriousness now, as soon as Chance had 2 wins on me from elbow fouls, the guy was the greatest arm wrestler in the world. Ask him, he'll tell you. Good kid, but big mouth. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Pin the guy. I've done it. Tim Bresnan tried to drag me out in the street, whip my ass for it, and I fucking deserved it. That's what I'm saying. If you earn something in this sport, earn it. You didn't pin me, but hey, I get it. I know you're excited. You want to be something, do this. Great. You'll get there, but earn it. My God, man.
He's coming in 300 pounds plus, right?
Yeah, I want to bring him some of those butterbean shorts. I think he's the next butterbean. Tugboat butterbean, similar, I don't care what his ass weighs. It makes him.
He shaved his head, so yeah.
Butterbean. My man, I bet he's got tit fat for days.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's the lifestyle. That's his, that's his goal. So
and Mexican food's greasy. So come on, man.
Oh man.
Rumor is you might pull Mike Ayello first.
That's correct. Mike's my.
How do you feel?
Not afraid of Mike. Mike's not afraid of me. We know how each other pulls. It's all about the setup. Both of us are tremendously strong. I feel like I have an advantage just technically. But again, Mike's super powerful. It just all depends on, that after that gut comes out, man, where we set up, who's smarter than that guy that day. So we've already talked. I'm not going to give him anything. I really don't have to. He knows what I do. I can hook if I need to. I'd rather not. He's just such a powerhouse. But not afraid of Mike. He's not afraid of me. It'll be fun. It's going to be a strong match. It'll be fun.
What about Jordan?
Don't know him. Never held his hand. In my opinion, that's the wrong technique to use against me. But he may educate me. I know he's not a speedster. He's got a big ball. It's going to be one of those days that people's going to remember one way, one-sided. It's really going to end up being a lot of people talking about it because ultimately that's going to be the next step with Corey and Todd, and then the step through into Dave and those boys. And I'd like to get in there. I think technically I can make some noise up there. You know, I pulled Todd, and I don't make excuses, man. I had a really bad day. There was left-handed pads. I don't know if anybody knows this. Coming back, a lot of things changed. I was on left-handed pads and didn't even know it, so I'm palm up, pulling Todd here, and there's nobody in the world that can pull Todd palm up. So I was like, why can't I get off on this dude? Only to realize that I'm such an ignorant ass. And I have a traumatically bad back, and it was in a bad place. So my motion and movement was already limited, only to be underneath. So there's no pronation out of Todd's hook. I'm sorry. So that made me look kind of yesterday's news, only to come back, train with Mike, and really make some noise down there with those guys. I was able to pull Todd a little bit, and I learned a lot. Yeah, I'm not afraid of that guy. I'd love to pull him again. I think he's going to have a lot of trouble with my setup and hit. Of course, I want right-handed pads. No, Todd Hutchins. But no, man, this is I'm excited. You got a hungry young dude in Chance that he wants to be the best so bad, and that's good.
Hey, if he pulls this off, which he can, man, if he gets to go on all of you guys, you're all in trouble.
He's not strong enough. He's not. He's got a good technique. If you give him lanes, yeah, he's very strong in his lanes. I don't know. I didn't get nervous with his power. He hit into my arm and bounced off of it. If you watch that, I didn't go nowhere, and that's all the farther he's going to go in. Because if I get my lane side pressure, I'm just going to lay into it. It's going. But
you just need to plant your elbow.
Yep. Just got to do some changes, little tweaks. And like I said, if I come in 100%, and I believe I will, it's going to be a ride for those boys. Like I said, I'm going to turn the jets on and bring Hollywood out and piss everybody off, hopefully, and just change their day in a bad way.
Hell yeah.
So,
we got to make this much. We talked to all three of them, and they're definitely underestimating you.
That's all right. I need it. They'll know better. They'll know better very soon. Everybody should, because I don't have anything for them to really glance at and get scared about.
I know if the Don that showed up from what was the MGM Arm Wars, what year was that?
I don't, man. Yeah, that was end of 10, early 11 right there.
You were like unstoppable. Like you were a beast.
I was the best arm wrestler in the world that day. I'm very good. Like I said, I'm day to day. It's funny. You know how it is, Scott, man. We're getting old, dude. How old are you now?
56.
Oh, shit. You got me by a ton. So excuse me. I'm 49 and it hurts, So these young kids heal a lot faster. Yeah. They're not even at their peak. You've just hit your last growth spurt, usually around 55, 56.
Yeah, I'm going for my final run. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then you should have that strength load right now that nobody wants to hang on to. And I've hit a huge one. I'm throwing weight around the gym that you would just not imagine. It's strong. So my hand's good. I've got to learn to warm up.
Yeah, well, that's key. Here we go, right here.
Yeah, this showed up on Facebook today, man.
This is beautiful footage.
I started this day with a match against Yoshi Kanai. Yoshi was a very high-rated arm wrestler, just beat Michael Todd in London badly. Mike I remember that day, and Mike kind of looked at me and said, man, I cannot beat this guy. And he literally sucked the life out of Mike, and I never see Mike have defeat. Mike was there at that event. Ended up having some family issues after I broke Yoshi's arm. And I'm not sure that match might have had something to do with it. Nobody won.
Yeah, maybe.
I just had a day, man. And like I said, love those guys. Love pulling Neil's events.
That was some good shit. We're going to be putting some events together similar to these. We'll have also our own little venue, but you're on that roster. So,
well, if you want a good entertaining arm wrestler, you can set a match. You don't even have to be a great arm wrestler. If you can get some entertaining guys and match it up properly,
that's the key,
be the most popular fucking guy in the world. you know, and that's what people don't realize. When you find something and they love to do another thing and you can put that together and people want to watch, they don't know how good they are. You know what I'm saying? You could have 100 amateurs on there that are entertaining. You got the number one show on TV.
Yeah.
But you turn around and then you got, 25 of the best arm wrestlers, but don't know how to work a camera. Forget about it. It's over with. You'll be off season one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm ready to work again, man. I think arm wrestling's ready for TV. A Game of Arms proved that with the ratings that we had. Intense ratings. I helped them a lot do the casting on that. I didn't have a producership, but I was a consultant on the show. So I had a lot to do with who was on the show. And unfortunately, they kind of kept everybody away from each other. So I wasn't able to really communicate with some of the guys. And like the Sacramento boys, when I went in there putting on a show, they took it like, oh, Don's being an asshole. We're going to fuck him up today. Well, Jesus Christ, this is TV, guys. We're friends 365 days the last 10 years. You think I'm going to start fighting you in your backyard? Because this is entertainment. They just didn't get the gist of it. And I think that had a lot to do with the decision of the cancellation. You just can't do that. There's too much liability.
Right.
We've got to be on the same page, because Scott, if you and I get together the night before a match and talk about how we're going to do this, you can throw a right hand and knock me out as far as I care, as long as I know what's happening, and we'll make it. We'll sell it. We'll make it look good, and we'll get ratings for it. So, but that's got to be something talked about,
Yeah.
But that's what arm wrestling needs, is the entertainment side. I've always said that, and that's why I've tried to be who I am.
Well, it's funny because they try to, they almost try to not have any of this communication that happens at the table, which is the most entertaining part. But yet all these other arm wrestling leagues really don't concentrate on any of that. You know what I mean? They're offset. It's all about ready, go, next, ready, go, next. There's no entertainment value of you and I conversing with each other, talking shit, whether it's how's the kids or I'm going to knock you into next week, bro. You know what I mean?
There has to be, one, a camaraderie, two, something to watch. Arm wrestling is not an entertaining sport. One, I'm going to tell you that right now. That's why you can't sell arenas, because nobody wants to see 14 hours of arm wrestling. You see it one, see them all. But you throw Donny Underwood and Travis Bagent in a match, things going to change.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't mind getting in your face, spitting at you, telling whatever I need to say to make everybody hate me or love me or whatever. I'm good at that. I can play the bad guy. I can play a face. I was a pro wrestler for 7 years. And I always said this sport is missing one thing, and that's the entertainment value. And we got a lot of it with Game of Arms. We've seen some sparks of greatness and what could be. And I think if we get the opportunity to do that again, we'll be successful. But there's people that think this sport is so pure that they forget there's other people watching that don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I love this sport. It's in my DNA. We're not right. Being arm wrestlers, you're never going to be quite normal. We could be the smartest guy in the world or the best doctor or whatever we are, but we all turn into Mr. Hyde when we get out there.
Yeah.
And we've got to make that entertaining, because if you're going to be in a room 14 hours with a bunch of crazies, then I got to do something to make noise, be something different than everybody else. And that's when they'll start recognizing you, want you back. So that's why I want Hollywood, and I want some cameras, and goddamn, I want to have fun again,
Definitely. So I think we're getting down to like 3 minutes. So what, after this 4-way matchup, or do you have any goals? Is there a match you're looking for? Anybody in particular?
As long as I don't have to pull an arm wrestling tournament, I'll pull anybody. I think I can pull with anybody. I really do. I'm anxious to get up to that higher level. I'd like to get a hold of Dave and see what my move does to him. His power inside is just second to none. And I'm not sure that I have enough time to catch up to Dave. I used to beat up on him a lot. So I think with the right technique and power that he can have some struggles. And I'm able to get outside on him. And I think I'm able to do that. But I don't know if I can do it consistently with an arm that strong. So I don't know that I want to go to, that 1% elite level. I mean, I think I'm at a 90% or a 92. I think I'm a very high level. Just whatever comes my way. I just want to have fun. I want people to enjoy this. I love the people that come up and say, "Hey man, you can I get a picture with you?" That kind of stuff, man. I just want to be a part of something special. And this sport is such a special thing.
Right on, brother. Well, we wish you the best of luck in Oklahoma. I'll see you there.
Good.
And we look forward to getting you back on the show soon.
Yeah, let's do it as much as we can, guys. Like I said, I love to chat about this stuff, and God knows we can find something fun to talk about. But all right, guys, I'll be looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Till next time, buddy.